To which the emperor, half disbelieving, half pleased, demands from Mephistopheles, "Money is missing? Thus make it."
Der Mephistopheles auffordert, es fehlt an Geld, nun gut, so schaff es denn.
Unser Bundespräsident Horst Köhler legt uns, seinen Bundesbürgern nahe.
Our Federal President Köhler advises us as citizens to dare more freedom. If we want to dare more freedom, we should start with the freedom of choice. This freedom of choice does not exist with the current money monopoly. We are all participating in this great monopoly, even if we lose. Choices are lacking. People should be able to decide freely how wide or how tight they want to knit their economic nets, so that these nets should support them. They should be able to decide freely when and for what they want to use a specific type of money for. We have it in our hands. We can design our own nets, our economy, our money.
Sparkassen halten einen 40%igen Marktanteil bei der
Sparkassen, the equivalent of an English savings bank, hold a 40% market share in the financing of medium-sized businesses. They train 50% of bankers in Germany, and they pay 40 to 50% of the banking sector's corporate taxes. These advantages would cease to exist, as you can imagine, if Sparkasse were to be transformed into a corporate bank. The principle of subsidiarity and self-government on a municipal level are sacrificed for filling city coffers. If official reasoning will not return to the heads of the political decision-makers, we might have to prepare for a development similar to that in the USA. When we look at the figures, frames and perspectives, we can expect that the regional context of regional credit institutes will continue to decrease in the future, unfortunately. But where else but in the region where we live can we start to take our future into our own hands? Where else do we find like-minded people pursuing the same goals? Where else can we build up structures and networks effectively? And last but not least, where else can we implement complementary currencies whose benefits will become blatantly visible? Paul Pierkov in his latest book makes a strong point of giving citizens back their state. In this sense, I demand from everyone, let's take over the regions.
Gebt dem Bürger ihren Staat zurück. In diesem Sinne fordere ich alle auf, übernehmen wir die Regionen.
So, jetzt gucken wir uns mal die moderne Gesellschaft morgen an, in 20 Jahren.
So now, let's look at the modern society in 20 years' time. The percentage of the working public, which is highly productive, has risen slightly to 25% compared to 20% today. At the same time, the percentage of those with medium productivity has decreased from 65% to 25%. And 50% of the working public are not productive at all. However, in this scenario, we still have a rise of total productivity compared to today's gross domestic product. This incredible result achieves the highest added value. We can achieve higher added value with lower productivity. This image is of central importance because it goes against what people think is common knowledge. That we cannot live sustainably with high value to arts and culture and with leisure, because it is financially not possible. But it is. Today, creativity and inventions and engineering have to withstand many obstacles. This is why we have to approach the subject from a different angle to affect these conditions. Regional initiatives. What do we need to do? What are the components of this regional economy? It is the membrane. First, local currencies function as a membrane. They are small-scale technologies. Small-scale technologies are technologies that, due to their clever design, their miniature design, become so small that they do not need a lot of capital investment. They can be used with little output for the economy within a region. When I produce for global markets, I will have costs per unit that are significantly lower than if I would have produced for a regional market. On a regional level, it is impossible to compete with current technological production. We need a new understanding of education. We need an education system that is based upon a diversification of skills, not on a narrow gauge specialization on cognitive high performance. And we need a differentiation of modernity. We need political innovation through formation, and we need the regional initiatives. An established force field has, broadly speaking, existed between labour and capital. We need new political orientation, one which is represented in Parliament, which sees itself as a representative of a world of regions, and which counteracts the idea of a borderless neoliberal world.
Eine politische Orientierung, die sich als Welt der Region versteht, als Vertreter einer Welt der Region und entgegenstellt gegen die entgrenzte neoliberalisierte Welt.
Der Regiogeld e.V. ist ein Zusammenschluss von laufenden Initiativen, Staateninitiativen und Fördermitgliedern.
The Regiogeld Association is an organization of running initiatives, starting initiatives, and supporting members from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. We are, as the discussion during monetary regionalization has shown, clearly competing with other monetary systems. We are clearly distinguished from other monetary systems. Example, through our quality that needs to be fulfilled by the member initiatives. These are, first, a profit for the community. This means regional currencies should create win-win situations where everyone benefits when using them. We have a diversity of monetary systems and we support this diversity. However, we always insist on initiatives keeping to the quality criteria. We want to create regional circuits. There are some ideas concerning the use of regenerative energies. Another criteria is neutral exchange. This criteria addresses the issue of circulation assurance. This means, how do the initiatives assure the circulation of their money? Do they use stamps? People have to stick on the notes to validate them? Or do they use an expiry date on the notes? Or something else? This is always in discussion. Our monetary systems need to be transparent for all users. As a normal person, it is virtually impossible to understand the transactions of established credit institutions. Here, we want to set different benchmarks and apply different standards. Everyone using regional money should know what happens in the initiative. What are profits used for? What costs and revenues are? This transparency is essential to us. The next quality criteria is democracy, meaning not all representative democracy, but direct democracy. The users should be able to co-design the monetary systems and should be integrated into decision-making processes.
We would like to introduce the people behind the initiatives that were organized in the Regiogeld Federation. So everyone can see what they look like. We'd like to ask them to come up on stage right now.
We hand out individual starter kits. Roughly our formula is, a company will receive 1,000 Havelböden, which is worth 1,000 euros per full-time employee. And for 100% acceptance in taking the regional currency, this money can be spent instantly.
Our latest development is a cooperation with the Landmark Currency Initiative in Rheinstadt, Thüringen. This means people can shop at our Ursprungtaler currency partners using the Landmark currency and vice versa.
We currently have 70 business partners from the Westerwald. As independent entrepreneurs, we feel committed to social, ecological, and economic aims. We feel connected to the ideas of Raiffeisen, one of the founding fathers of the German cooperative system. Here, we have a connection to regional currencies. 100 years ago, Raiffeisen founded the Brotverein to support the rural population. It was important for him that people not just receive a pittance, but also render services in return.
Manfred Meyer from the Hallertauer Currency Initiative and Christian Gellery from the Chiemgauer Currency Initiative. With us today are also representatives from the Waldviertler Currency Initiative and Styrion Currency Initiative.
We are in a cooperation to issue an electronic Regio, which will come out next year. We are glad about the ongoing support given to us by a Raiffeisen bank. Currently, we are discussing a cooperation on yak systems. We are very happy to cooperate with this small local Raiffeisen bank and their brave executive board, who feel committed to the historical ideas of Raiffeisen.
Der sich auch diesem alten Raiffeisen-Gedanken noch wirklich verbunden fühlt.
We have 50 business partners who accept the currency and a total circulation of 4,000 Hallertauer. Currently, we operate mainly in Pfaffenhofen, but want to expand to district level. We are happy with our member development. We have 70,000 Chiemgauers circulating among altogether 1,580 members. This includes 1,000 consumers and 500 business partners. Our current focus is on the electronic Chiemgauer. We cooperate with a software engineer from the Oberland Initiative. He has created a valuable interface. Our pilot phase has started in July. There are now 20 businesses using the electronic Chiemgauers, either by debit payment from Chiemgauer accounts, or most of them by card payment. The Styrion was developed in the style of the Chiemgauer. We currently have a circulation of 15,000 Styrion. Since last year, we issued a total amount of about 70,000 Styrion. We originated in a school, but now have to expand our circle. We differ from the Chiemgauer model in one essential aspect. Our banknotes expire after 6 months, and you can't stick stamps on them to revalidate them.
We have 186 business partners and approximately 20 individual members. We currently have a circulation of 9,000 Berliners, and since its introduction, we've issued 35,000 Berliners.
Und wir haben ungefähr 9.000 Berliner im Umlauf und haben schon 35.000 ausgegeben.
Und gleichzeitig kam dazu, dass
We suddenly had a wholesaler for ecological whole food products accept the canvas currency. So suddenly, every whole food shop in the province was able to spend their canvas. This was a reason to expand to the whole federal state. We had a survey among businesses concerning not regional currencies, but more open regional trading. The interviews thought it was positive we did not ask simply about regional currencies. There were 3 categories for them to choose: a catchment area up to 20 kilometres, one up to 50 kilometres, and another one exceeding 50 kilometres. The result was that many businesses can imagine generating a large percentage of their revenue within a radius of 50 kilometres. In 2004, we had the idea of working with a currency system backed by goods and services. For the transactions, we used easy-to-use software. We have 80 members, a mixture of businesses and consumers. In 2005, we started to issue the landmark. In the first year, we exchanged 70,000 euros into Vollmetaller. On top of this, we have issued 35,000 goods and services backed Vollmetallers, the so-called go-go Vollmetallers, in the last 4 weeks. So altogether, we have issued 105,000 Vollmetallers. Currently, 45,000 of these Vollmetallers are circulating. It was a conscious decision to start with a euro-backed currency, because the problem with currencies backed by goods and services is that many people don't use them. They don't regard it as money and need some time to accept it. Sternthalers can be bought with euros and partially with time. We are different to other initiatives because we are a barter exchange club. This is based on the opinion that purely euro-backed systems have an internal error. This error is that only those people who have euro capital can participate. Others are excluded. Our region borders the Chiemgauer region, so there are some interesting developments. Some businesses take both Chiemgauers and Sternthalers. Through the regional currencies, old consumption habits come out again, which do not follow regional borders. We are faced with interesting challenges. For example, the Chiemgauer charges 5% on re-exchange into euros. We charge 10%. So we have some clever entrepreneurs who first exchange Sternthalers into Chiemgauers and then Chiemgauers into euros. We have to find a solution for this now. Perhaps we'll be the first ones to introduce a Tobin tax.
Damit muss man halt rechnen und wir sind jetzt, Christian, wir sind jetzt ganz nah dran, das mal zu überprüfen und vielleicht sind wir die Ersten, die wirklich eine Tobin-Steuer einführen bei uns.
Es geht wirklich Grundfragen, die uns hautnah unter die Haut gehen, Grundfragen, die
This is really about essential issues that we are very concerned about. The gap between the rich and the poor is increasing at an alarming rate.
Vor wenigen Wochen hatten wir plötzlich wieder eine Meldung in den Zeitungen lesen
Only a few weeks ago, the press announced that for the first time, all of the 400 richest Americans are billionaires. The amount of money accumulating in fewer hands is again increasing at an alarming rate, and at the same time, poverty is increasing. This is a problem everyone is talking about. Still, humanity does not find a way out, although almost everyone wants a change. Almost everyone, I stress. Maybe not those who profit from the system as it is. I believe regional currency systems, as they are now on the rise in Germany, are a positive development. an approach coming from a grassroots level, coming from an interactive population. However, it is important we make this into a social force, which will produce political attention for more and more people to discuss this issue in a positive manner.
Dass in der Politik mehr und mehr Menschen Aufmerksamkeit bekommen und darüber in einer positiven Art und Weise auch diskutieren.
Ms. Katrin Göring-Eckardt, when I follow the parliamentary discussions, I get the impression that our problem is the stagnant economic situation and the deflation of the economy. Why have politicians not reacted to this earlier and supported these regional currency initiatives, since some of them have existed for decades? I think the reason is that the need hasn't been great enough. What I'm particularly interested in is commitment to regional and social matters. Most initiatives are not simply concerned with keeping the money within the region and increasing the regional spending power. They also want to improve social commitment and social contacts within the region. And I think this is a very exciting issue in these times, where we are discussing basic income and basic financial security. We've really tried to connect the existing available money, as Hans-Josef Fell has mentioned, with the available work that needs to be done. Connecting the two has not really worked. So maybe regional currencies can be the transmitter, connecting money, which is there, with the work which is also there. This is mainly work which involves people, with sustainability, with what we describe as the Agenda 21 process. And it is a grassroots level initiative. It is straightforward. What I am personally interested in is whether we can combine our structures, our new ideas about basic income, with the initiatives on regional money. Does the Ursprungtaler Initiative's concept follow the idea of investing time, work, and talent as a way of increasing purchasing power within the region?
In Sachsen-Anhalt, we have people with many talents. What is lacking, in my opinion, is money. So we chose a monetary system where people can bring in their own capacities. It was a conscious decision to implement such a monetary system originating with the idea of barter exchange. We think there is good perspective to bring people in contact with each other using a type of money which is backed by labor.
The current monetary system has one goal: to make money into more money. So as you can imagine, a money developed with this objective is not particularly useful for fostering ecological, social, or cultural purposes. Conversely, this also means that we need specific monies for these goals. Regional currencies are specific monies, because when you take your money to a credit institution, they will, unless you tell them to invest in ecological or ethical trusts. They even have to invest your savings where the highest profit can be expected. Today that's China, tomorrow it could be India or perhaps Russia. If you want your money back, you will be paying the standard price established on the global market. But because you will not be able to generate this profit within the region won't even get their money back. What we're trying to do with regional currencies is to create a small barrier. I call this a semi-permeable membrane, which helps strengthen the economic and trading activities within the region. Of course, you can use the euro to buy regional products. But with the regional currencies, the next person in the chain will also buy regional products, and the person after that too. In other words, you're extending the regional chain and are thus extending the chance to help the region directly. During Eckhart, what would you think of establishing a trial region for regional currencies, for example in the new German federal states, or even here in Thüringen? I think in this case an experimental clause would be very clever, because it gives people the opportunity to test something which isn't legal yet. Of course, there are always a good number of people brave enough to defy legislation and say, okay, we'll do it anyway. One day legislation will follow. This is how legislation evolves. However, we can't rely on those brave people alone. That's why it would be good to have experimental clauses, perhaps independent from certain regions, which state when there is a regional currency initiative, they should be given the opportunity to override certain laws for a certain amount of time. Then, with scientific monitoring, you could find out what's developing. This is an opportunity that politicians can create. I think it's exciting to discuss such